at you, baby. We got to organize, like, period. One of the last updates I made was sharing the experience that my house went to auction. I went to the auction and no one bought my house. Since then, no one has reached out. They have sent people to see that we are still living here. And I did share that RPM had come to my house. Aside from those two things, nothing has specifically happened with my home as of now. I have heard from another person whose home was bought by the gold Yildiz. I have heard from another person, and it sounds like her situation is going exactly the same. So what I'm wanting to know from a legal point is a couple of things. I've heard, and I don't have the whole email or the proper words of it now, but something to the effect of my housing situation being private or privatized and not a city's problem, for the lack of a better word. My question is, at what point does one person attacking 500 plus individuals and families, at what point does it go from a private problem to a public problem? Because to me, two people having an issue is private. One person going after 500 people's homes and finances, that feels like an attack. Like, at what point does it shift gears? Baltimore Renters United, the brew, and I am funneling everyone that has talked to me, asked questions, and looking into this for themselves. Anyone seeing this, please reach out to the Baltimore Renters United and get involved. Get your name on the list so that you are at least in the bubble of information. In addition to that, I have also started union school. So that's a place where we are learning skills on how to organize tenants. This is not something I've done my whole life. So I want to know how to, I'm not going to fail. I don't expect anything that I do to fail. So, I am going into the space wanting to learn as much as I can for how to help Baltimore City, Baltimore, period, Maryland, all the spaces that I can touch and reach, and then more and more. From what I've heard back from our council persons and what I haven't heard back from other people, it seems very much like the housing situation as a whole needs to be revamped. It seems, and my email from Odette even reads, she says, the answer is that we need to change state law and local city law to make the judges do the right thing. My question was, why when I went to court and explained my case and pretty much clearly showed that the persons collecting or trying to collect and evict me were fraudulent, at the very least not legally collecting rent or legally evicting, why did the judge continue to evict homes and individuals and families after me? Why doesn't the buck sort of stop there? Once a judge, which obviously you shouldn't get that far, but once a judge hears that this property manager or landlord or whatever alleged plaintiff is not legit, they shouldn't be able to continue any of their other cases. Which leads me to my next question. All of those people who were evicted under and through a non-legal, non-licensed property manager, what of them? Is there any way to get them any sort of redemption? How do you help make that right? Because why were they able to be evicted? Because they didn't know how to protect themselves. I think that's bogus. Our housing rights should not be for sale. We are humans. We need to have a home. We need to eat. We need to take care of our health. Those things should not be up for sale. It shouldn't be the highest bidder gets to screw the most people. That is whack. And that is literally what it feels like it keeps hearing and hearing. The next thing she says, our landlord-tenant laws are very lopsided toward the landlord. Even tenants do not have the right to counsel unless we, the city in parentheses, paid for it. That's wild. That's wild to me. So we're already set up for failure? In the case of property managers, there's nothing in the state law that says the landlord can't evict if the property management is not in good standing. So that question was about the information that I had been getting from the brew, that if a property manager does not have this proper debt collector's license in place, they can't take your rent. They aren't even legally allowed to ask you for it. Odette was explaining that in that case, once before the judge, what would happen is the property manager would just sign it back to their private landlord, which sort of gives them a loophole to play in without being held accountable, without being legit, which it just blows my mind how much pressure, how much it feels like the tenant cannot get it wrong or it's all lost. And the landlord not only can do kind of corrupt shit, but is also supported and given buffers to do said corrupt shit. My other questions were pretty straightforward. Are the judges being paid to not do the right thing? Are the council persons being paid? Is someone being paid to look the other way and essentially screw over tenants and renters? No one has given me a direct answer. That's still a question. If anyone knows how to investigate those sort of things, finances, if anyone knows how to investigate that, please reach out to me. Other questions are with the legal stuff. The brew is going to have a person who is either becoming a lawyer or on the way to that, working and volunteering with their organization. This is another reason why I'm trying to funnel everyone there, because from what I have learned and where I am right now, this group, this hub, has the most information and the most tentacles out. So even if you get there and it isn't the whole thing, it should be able to get you to the next step. If you get there and something is like a stop, it's not clear, please reach out, because then I can reach out too. I do feel like they're doing their best to answer all the questions and to help all the things, but I am still new to it. And while I am guiding and funneling and sharing everything, if there's anything that I share that you get to and it's not clear or not what I said, please come back to me so that I can fix my information and connect you with the dots like you want and shore up that communication. I do not want people falling through the bubble because it seems like this isn't a fully supported thing. As much as I am still learning, this is fully supported by myself. I'm awake every morning early and I am checking things before I go to sleep. Things do not stay unanswered. I will find answers. I will get you connected. I will get you where you need to be. Please reach out. Please do not ignore the action. Do not ignore your court date. Do not get discouraged. I will say this story 1,000 times. When I got my eviction letter, my first feeling was, oh God, I've lost. You know, they not only were trying to press me for the balance that we had agreed on, they were trying to go back and collect other money, even monies I had already paid. By the time I left that courtroom, they were offering to erase that entire $17,000, which yes, some of it wasn't real, but $17,000 to zero. In which case I said, I don't want your deal. I'm paying you zero and I'm still going to have my house because what y'all have done is wrong. I'm not making another deal with the devil who don't got no business making this deal. I'm not saying that's your best move, but what I am saying is do not skip court. Do not skip court. I know that the Baltimore Renters BRU, I know that they are wanting to help and empower people for their eviction cases. I am happy to do that. Please do not skip. I know that my court date when I was there, my property manager was Better Management. Since then, I do get an automated email, but as far as I know, they're crickets at this point. After my case was heard, the judge knew I was in the right. He still continued to see eviction proceedings for more houses through Better Management. I don't know why that can happen. I don't know why. And that's where it is. Like, are we being paid? Why isn't that stop? It should stop. If you can't do it here legally, why would you be able to do it over there? That to me is just a loophole that is there for the sake of exploiting people who don't know better. And at what cost? Literally, who's getting paid? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm still trying to come up with my own suggestion. I am not going to be a person who says this is wrong, no, F this, scratch this. I'm going to bring solutions. I feel like we have to somehow figure out how to remap, reschedule, rewrite all of the laws, all of the provisions, all of the policies, all of the procedures. Maybe that includes a rent and eviction freeze. I was a little discouraged at my last message from Paris Gray's office, which at least they did respond though, when they're using words we haven't even used. It's just kind of like, are you not listening? Is this not important? I realize as a council person, you probably have many jobs. You should. You're in that seat for a reason to take care of many things. And I can't imagine being in a seat of civil service in Baltimore or any city at this point. I'm in this union school. There were 39 different cities represented, 890 different individuals in this union school that are going to show up every Thursday until November to learn and to see this through. These are people who got the grit. They're going to keep going. You're already seeing big things happen in New York when someone wants to do their job, you know? And I'm not trying to be a hater. I haven't been a big shade thrower of Brandon Scott. I just think you could do more. Do more. Don't stop there. And copy and paste, you know? Some of the best things I've ever learned, some of the best things I've done, I watched another human do and I learned how to do it myself. Do it. Do something. So here's the message from Darian that was a little discouraging. I wrote her an ode the same day, and they took about a week to respond. This is from me. This morning I'm seeing about investing money into vacant homes in our city. This is great. I'm just wondering where we are with the hundreds of homes being forced into foreclosure due to predatory landlords and property managements. We are seeing real change in New York City, and I'm not willing to believe they can't do something here. When I first discovered this, I requested an eviction freeze. That was said to be passed on, and considering I've heard nothing after that, I would assume it's fallen on deaf ears. That was said to be sent to the housing commissioner. Now, about 2 months ago, me and one of my girlfriends sat here and we investigated and did discover that they have hired a new housing commissioner. That was easily 6 or 8 weeks ago at this point. I went on to say, was my request not compelling enough? I am not a big fish, nor do I need to be, but I am one who wants answers and results. How can I help? Each day I wonder how things will unfold. How can I help to further this process? I keep feeling stuck. I have asked questions. Sometimes I get feedback. Sometimes I don't. So what do I do? 6 days later, she wrote back and she says, we talk extensively about the vacant reduction efforts, and it is a lot of information for a text, but I think you should start here if you want to deep dive into questions and answers. She wrote me back the link for Reframe Baltimore. It's reframebaltimore.com. Again, really cool, exciting idea for that. That definitely needs to be done. But also, you know, she then goes, there is also a transition on leadership happening in the Department of Housing, which we already know because we investigated that. There's a new housing commissioner, and he is still relatively new. But I did meet with him and explain everything and provided the letter you gave. Here's where I got a little twinge of pain. I'm sorry that there hasn't been a rent freeze or anything, but the FBI is investigating these people. I didn't ask for a rent freeze. I asked for an eviction freeze. They're not the same. I would have both, but I'm wanting to not displace humans and families first. Fuck your money. No shit. Screw that. I don't care about the money. Beep. I care about the families. The money part can come later. She goes on, just know, trust me, bro, that's what this reads. Just know that they are being held accountable, and just maybe not in a way that is apparent, but they are. There is nothing reassuring or stable in that comment. I will not trust you, bro. I'm so sorry. Public display or nothing. How do you want How are you going to mess with 500 people's families, buy more than 1,000 homes in Baltimore City? Didn't even check county yet because I just got overwhelmed. There were so many. How can you mess with that many people's stuff? Homes, finances, our biggest financial expenditure for most people. And we just got to trust you, bro? No offense, but I've seen how these kind of people get punished. Like, the padded punishment is not what I'm looking for at all. I understand your frustration about the lack of updates, but you can always reach out if you have questions or need assistance with the city services or resources. I'm going to keep reaching out to the council persons. I've tried the city resources. I've joined the Baltimore Renters United. Now I'm going to keep calling you. Private real estate transactions are not requested at the city level, unfortunately, but they have the information, and it's helpful to know these LLCs and names. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, this is not, I bought a house from Mr. Smith. This is 3 people chose and executed to fraudulently procure more than 500 homes. More than 1,000 homes, 500 that are being lived in, that are facing foreclosure. At what point does it go from private to public? At what number is that? Because I feel like 10. 10's good. My ideas for these procedures and policies are pretty simple. If you want to be a landlord, you have to show that you deserve to be a landlord. The same way that when I went to medical school, I had to learn stuff. Okay, I went to medical assisting school. But the same way when I go back to school, I'm going to have to learn before I can be that guy. If you aren't knowledgeable, if you haven't proven yourself, how can you just buy your way into being a landlord with all these loopholes, all this padding, for you to just steal from 500 families in Baltimore and then still call it private? The dots are not connecting, and I am a hell of an abstract drawer, y'all. Just not doing it. So my thoughts are this. I want to reach out to everyone that's home was bought by the same guys as me, the 500 homes. I know I am not the only person who has stayed in her home. I am keeping my home. I plan to buy this home from the bank. They will not take this home from me. This is my house. I believe that with enough of the 500 of us, we can get legal representation and make this legit. You know, we aren't a building that is owned by one guy that's screwing us over. For example, this brings me to the next thing I heard from my neighbor this morning. Something about a Kushner building. There was a settlement. These guys were charging rents and late fees and all other sorts of fines, collecting on them. And then it turned out that it was not legit. Now, I literally just had this conversation on the porch, so I don't have the whole name. I don't have the numbers of what they won, but they won. And that was in Baltimore. I want to know who those legal people were. I want to know what steps were taken, because I want that for the homes that are involved in the same ones as me. Yet, no, we don't all live in one building, but we all have that same 3 men in common. We all have those janky ass LLCs and property managements in common. And I believe that we can unionize and get what's rightfully deserved to us. We can keep our homes. We can decide if we want to keep our home or move. Not them. You don't get a say-so anymore. You were never eligible to be a landlord in the first place. And going forward, my idea, whether you're a privatized or a public landlord, should be pretty easy. The first year, maybe you can have 2 to 3 properties, but there are checks and balances. The same way that as a new landlord, you'd only have 3 properties. So someone would be calling and checking in. Are you doing all right? Have your needs been met? Is there anything that needs to be brought up to speed? Once you get through 1 year, maybe a year and a half, then you can graduate to be like a level 2 landlord. Maybe then you can own a dozen properties. And you would go through the same steps. Are all your needs being met? Does it feel right? Are there things that need to be improved upon? If you can do that, then you can have more. There are way too many people in Baltimore that are living upside down. It is not okay anymore. It's not okay about our housing. It's not okay about BG&E. It's not okay the struggle to feed our families. It is not okay that we have to decide between healthcare and BG&E or healthcare and food. All of that is wrong. All of that needs to be flipped. All of it. And while I really thought my shit would be more in healthcare because that's where I've been my whole life, the housing thing landed in my lap. And I'm not going to see it through. It will be done. If you're seeing this and you are a tenant or if you are a renting family in Baltimore and you are blessed to have a good landlord or at least something that's not fucked up, good for you. No crap. But please still join us. Beep. Even if you aren't being negatively impacted, I would bet my bottom dollar that someone that you love or care about is. Maybe your next door neighbor. For all I know, there are 500 homes owned by the same guys that bought mine. I want to share this out a lot. And I want to organize us. I know that we can get something right by us. I won't believe otherwise. If you are a legal person and you know anything about these laws or would like to help us take action, please reach out. I know that, again, there is a person that is going to be working with and volunteering with the brew. You can set up a session talk time to speak with them. Again, that would be through the brew. So if you have any questions about the union school or joining the brew, please reach out to me. If you know anything about this Kushner lawsuit, please reach out to me. If you know anything about changing laws or the way that the courts work inside of a courtroom and why the judge would still go on, please reach out to me. If you would happen to know early in the morning all of the people's names on eviction lists and you can give that to me, please reach out to me. If there is another group of people organizing in Baltimore City specifically with this housing piece at heart, please connect me so that I can also be there too. I know that the more of us stand together and create this unstoppable front, the quicker, the faster, and the less damage will be done. I want to know about getting some sort of justice for people that have been wrongfully evicted. And I'm sorry, if you aren't legally allowed to evict and a person is evicted, isn't that unjustified? But that doesn't feel right. And at some point, when enough people can stand up and say, that's not right, and we're not willing anymore for that to be the way it is, this is how things are going to change. And it's really easy to be in a space where you're considering your housing and you probably, maybe like me, you have children, and maybe like me, you've already been struggling enough and it just feels like another blow that just keeps pushing you down. But please know that this is not that. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. It's the last piece. This is where it stops. This is where Baltimore gets to take back Baltimore for the people. Elected officials are elected officials. The same way that you can go get a job at McDonald's, you can go be an elected official. Those people can be replaced, just like a server, just like a bartender, just like a nurse. If these people aren't advocating for our rights, we will find people that will. And I know that enough of us standing up and saying, no more, no, this will not do, we will get their attention. Last but not least, my neighbor also mentioned reaching out on a state level to a new person, Ruff, maybe the last name. If you are connected with that or know them, please reach out to me because I also want to talk to them. I never actually heard back anything from the mayor's office except for that one head patting email a long time ago. If you're there, please reach out. Funnily enough, I did apply to be the mayor's assistant. I never heard back. That's okay. I get it. Totally get it. Conflict of interest. I'm going to be updating at least once a week now to share the nuggets because it's kind of gotten to the place where I have enough of these things and I'm just going to start chewing all of them. After being inside of that Zoom, knowing that I could only see 450 people, but that there was 890 people, it's time for like this to happen. Like, this makes sense, but it should not be something that is facilitated, that we can exploit housing from people, especially vulnerable people, especially people that don't look like me. Going to win. We will not lose. We will not stop. Protest. We will send the emails. We will send text. We will be the fly on the horse's back. We will get the change. And I know that the more of us that do this together, the sooner that we are all standing together, shoulder to shoulder, the quicker we will get their attention. They will take us more seriously. If you are, again, in Baltimore, if you care about Baltimore families, you could still sign the petition. You do not have to be disenfranchised by this. You do not have to be upside down. You do not have to be a victim of this. This is not going to go away. This is not going to go away until it is rectified, until we are properly represented, until citizens and families are being protected, and at the very least, not exploited. If you know anybody that is in any of these spaces, if you know a space I need to be and I haven't mentioned it, point me there. I will go. I am an octopus. I will put my tentacles in all of it, and I will shuck it up into the hub, and I will make sure all of it gets to where it needs to be. And I don't have to do it alone. There are other people already doing this, and I know that there are more people that care about this. There have been people that have been doing this work for years, and I am thankful that they already have a lot of dots that I have been able to help connect and figure out and get to hear from. I want to add to that pile. I want people that just love other people in Baltimore to help you. Again, you could be a homeowner. There are different spaces for all of our community members, all of our citizens, all of our people to care and show you care. And if you know someone that is probably maybe not seeing this, talk to your person, talk to your neighbor, tell them not to skip their eviction. Tell them to reach out and message me. Tell them to reach out to the brew. Do not let them ignore it. Don't. I know how easily it is to be discouraged when you feel like you just keep taking the hits and you don't win. Eventually, though, you get to take your power back and you can decide, it stops here. I will win now. I will not lose anymore. I will not lose anymore. You can dig your heels in just like I did, and you can get support, and you can get to the other side of this. Do not skip the date. Do not skip the date. Do not skip the date. God, if you are seeing this and you work at all within the court systems and you have any kind of insight for how I can be in that space, how I can help other people know this before their date's been missed. I know once upon a time there used to be something in place for that, helping people that were about to be evicted. I know they took that away. If you know anything about any of these parts, please reach out and fill me in. I promise you all of the information is wanted and necessary and relevant. even the housing, the by the block thing, like, I care about homelessness. I have already ideas abolishing homelessness, like, especially because we have vacant properties. But we also have families inside of homes that need to keep their homes. They deserve to keep their homes. And as a whole, Baltimore City, people that rent, they needed a whole renovation of how that's done. Maybe freeze the rent, freeze eviction, back to the drawing board with all of that, and then pick it up and start all over again. But when something is terribly wrong, all the wires are mixed up, it's a shit show. It needs to be wiped away and start all over again. And if there are people that have been benefiting from others losing, especially families, you gotta go, bro. We can't trust those people. If you've ever been paid to turn the other way, you are fired. I'm so sorry. Pack your bags, because we will find out. People know. Somebody knows. Somebody's going to tell me. Oh, God, they're going to tell me. People reach out to me all day long. I'm going to be also going back into the original post, the 2 posts that I got the most views on, and I'm going to be commenting to every single person that commented to give them a synopsis of this and a connect the dots to the brew. Yeah, all those people I'm going to be reaching back and mostly just wanting to organize. I'm going to learn more about how the laws are written. Thank God I have a lawyer friend who lets me ask her endless questions. And she ain't going to let me down either. I know that neighbors in my direct community, they care about it. They're asking me about it every day. At least one other person whose home is owned by these 3 bad guys, the Gold and those 3 dudes. If you are in one of those homes, if you're not sure, reach out. If you want help sort of investigating a little bit about your property management, your homeowner, how much they bought your house for, how much your house was sold for. I have done all that research for myself. I can, at the very least, show you where to go. And really definitely want to connect people with the Baltimore Renters United so that we can have a hub. The more of us that are in connect, so that when we all know, hey, show up on Friday, and we all get to hear show up on Friday, and we all show up on Friday, we will get their attention. I don't mean this Friday. This is just an example. But when we're all spread out and, connect, there needs to be a hub. And so far as I can tell, this is the best hub. If there's more, tell me. Because I'm doing everything I can. There has been nothing that I have not gone after. There has been nothing that I haven't shown up for. And there is not a thing that I'm not willing to do for this cause. I'm curious about this Kushner settlement. I'm curious to know if these lawyers would like to represent a whole bunch of other people. Potentially pro bono. Maybe we'll get some money. You can have some of that. I don't know. And I'm going to keep sharing it out. And I'm going to keep sharing it out. And I'm going to keep nagging the people. I'm going to start nagging probably the mayor again. Maybe the governor. Whoever this rough guy is. It's going to be nice to meet you soon. And eventually we will get the answers. Very hopeful that, our council persons are just really busy. And they do actually care, and they do want to help us. And it's not just easy to ignore me because I'm one person and there's, bigger pressing people with bigger pressing issues. I hear all that. I get it. You're busy. I get it. There's a lot to be done. But this also gets done now. This is not going to fall by the wayside. God, I didn't even know how bad it was for some renters in Baltimore just living normal life, not being screwed over by a scam. They tried this in, Boston, and they weren't able to succeed. Does Boston love their city more than Baltimore? Because it's giving. Those 3 dudes literally tried the same shit in Boston and did not get to do it. So Boston, they were able to protect their citizens, private or not. And New York, they're actually doing shit for their citizens. Good morning, Baltimore. We're looking at you, baby. Let's go. You ain't got to be like jump in. Take action. Do it now. Do it before you have all of us barking up your butts, because we're going to be there. Do it and show that you love us and you love your job and you love this city and you love humans and you want to do the right thing, because the wrong thing has been just done way long time. And judges, I'm just not willing to believe that they're all bad. I'm not even willing to believe they're mostly bad. Maybe they're lazy. Maybe it's just been easy to comply. Maybe nobody wants to ruffle feathers because they like getting paid. I get it. But, that's over. And again, whether you've been purposely harming people or looking away, if that's you, you should be quick on the board of, let me make this right. I'm going to take accountability. I was benefiting from others. I'm going to make it right. I'm going to do it now. You know who you are. You will never convince me that there is nothing we can do. That's not my story, and I know it is not your story. It never, ever, ever starts like that. but it starts with somebody doing the right thing. And people will do the right thing. There are enough of us. I know it. And the more that I keep sharing, I mean, my first post got 30,000 and I was barely trying. I'm not, look at how little I am. On TikTok, what do I only have? I have like 3,000 followers. I wasn't even trying. But I know there's enough of us that care. I know there's enough of us that care about people in general. And, yeah, this is a good space to be. Please, please, please reach out. Please let me connect the dots for you and help you get to where you need to be so that you're able to secure your housing. You should not lose your home. If you've already been evicted and you believe that that was not legit, please reach out. I believe something should be done to make that right. And if there's anything that you know that I should know, please reach out. And I want to build a force. I want to continue to build the force that's already been growing before I even knew. I want to connect all of these humans in Baltimore to do something that's really important and really powerful for Baltimore. If you're really good at this stuff and you're really good at making noise, please reach out. If you have a bigger platform and you want to help share, please reach out. If you feel like you should and you want to, please reach out. I'll see you guys later. Bye.